What up, what up, what up? Y'all know what it is, y'all know who it is. If you looking at this face and listening to this voice, you will tune in to the best kept secret in sports talk. I'm your friendly neighborhood smoke, and you are officially back on the hot seat. And what we do on the hot seat, say it with me, we set somebody's ass on fire. This week we're going to talk about Florida State, but I think with the season approaches us in about 2 or 3 weeks, I think it's a great time to take a step back and I think we should do like a state of the program address, right? Just take a step back, look at where Florida State is, look at how we got here, and more importantly, look at where we can possibly go. So, without any further ado, man, paying homage to the ghost over my left and my right shoulder. Ding ding, classes in session. I know you missed the gospel, but God damn it, it's back, and I'm finna give it to you. So, as I said, the season is upon us. It's line season. You know, pretty sure you've had all the discussions you're gonna have, and you've read all the publications you're gonna read. Um, you've fallen for all the clickbait, just as I have. Season's coming. I know we're all excited for some football. Um, you haven't seen me for a while because I really didn't have anything to talk about. I think the last time we discussed things at the end of the recruiting cycle last season, great idea to take a step back and just look at Florida State as they currently are. And if this is going to be a state of the address, um, I think the state is gloom. I think it's gloom, and it's almost as if there's a dark cloud hovering over Florida State University football program, and it's been there for a while. And I mean, when I say a while, like let's take a walk down memory lane. Why don't we? We can go far back as 2016, even 2015. Think about when Derwin James blew his knee out. You know what I'm saying? Busted coverage, kind of like a freak play, lands awkwardly when he makes the tackle. You look at the next season, Florida State, Alabama. Woo! What a time to be alive. Probably the most highly anticipated season in open game in college football history. DeAndre Francois blows out his knee. Blows out his knee. Season goes from sugar to shit overnight, damn near. You think about how that season transpired. True freshman quarterback Jimbo stops recruiting. He splits. Now Florida State is looking for a new head coach. Get a head coach, right? Get a head coach. A lot of excitement around the program. A lot of excitement around the program. I've talked before about that spring game, and again, what a time to be alive, right? Um, he doesn't even make it 2 seasons, people. He's gone. Um, in comes. I've talked about this before. You've heard other people talk about this before. You don't fire a coach halfway through his second tenure if you're not certain you have somebody who is going to blow the doors off the program to replace him. I think Florida State went out there and they had somebody in mind. Some things went sour, and we ended up with Mike Norvell. Right? I guess it's a nice consolation prize, or not. You get Mike Norvell, right? He comes in. It's tough on him. You look at everything he had to deal with when he got here, the COVID season and all this other stuff. He wins 3 football games. You get the draws beat off of you playing Miami. Um, 3-win season. You know, Willie Taggart preceded him with the first losing season in decades at Florida State. Follow that up, he wins three. He wins 3 games, and it's embarrassing, right? It's really hard to be a Florida State football fan. It's embarrassing. Um, Shake all that off. Fast forward to the next season. 0-4. You start the season 0-4, and you know what? I don't think people understand how bad 0-4 really looks. I don't think people understand where 0-4 puts you, right? So if you're 0-4, that's one thing. You are in it for a lot of recruits. You had a nice recruiting. You had some nice recruiting steam coming into the season. You shit the bed. You go 0-4. You look very competitive on the opening night of the season against Notre Dame on national television. And then you have the Jackson State debacle, worst loss in program history probably. 0-4 looks bad. What do you think 1-4 looks like? What do you think 2-4 looks like? This is 6 weeks of embarrassment. 0-4 is embarrassing. 1-4 is embarrassing. 2-4 is embarrassing. 3-4, you giving us a glimmer of hope. Then you go to 3-5. Then you go to 3-6. This is what 0-4 did for you. It was a gut punch to all of the momentum you had worked so hard to build going into the season. And what's more is 0-4 doesn't just look bad for that recruiting cycle. It looks bad for the next recruiting cycle. And I'm probably getting ahead of myself, but just think about somebody like Hakeem Williams, five-star receiver, five-star wide receiver, and you look at how things are shaping up for Florida State in the recruiting battle as we go into September. Think about how much more steam or probably how much more better Florida State looks if they have something to sell on the field. Think about where they'd be for other prospects and other recruits had you had something to sell, had you not gone 0-4, had you finished the season 6-6. God, 7-5 would have been beautiful, right? But you don't. Finish the season 5-7, and then recruiting happened. National Signing Day happened. Um, National Signing Day happened, and I'm not trying to rehash any or reopen any old wounds, but you had the Travis Hunter debacle, worst flip in college football history, and it happens to Florida State. Wow. You had the father of the program pass away, right? And even when you go back to the Travis Hunter thing, he flips to your favorite son. He goes to Jackson State, where Deion Sanders is the head coach. And if that wasn't worse, if all of you can go back, stay with me. I want anybody to go back and pass out. But if you go back and remember how that morning started out, you would think that it couldn't get any worse once you heard, oh wow, Travis Hunter tweets it's time to shake up the world, make history or some shit. You look at how he's removed all his Florida State stuff off his IG page. Look at every time there was a Florida State target and it was his time slot to commit and he chose somebody else. Think about how badly that day ended, right? Okay, all right, whatever. You fast forward to the Amarius Mims saga. And again, take yourself back to that time. Think about the excitement that the program had, or at least the excitement that was around the program when the conversation of Amarius Mims came up, the potential of landing what would have been the best offensive lineman Florida State has had in, man, I don't know. And think about the excitement. Everybody was so gung-ho about landing him. It seemed as if Florida State had gotten ahead of the curve with NIL, and seems like everything was starting to come together once for a change, right? Something, I don't want to call it a freak accident. I don't want to be disrespectful, but something that was out of Florida State hands occurs, and he goes back to Georgia. All of the wind that was sucked out of Florida State at that moment was something I probably can't even put into words. It was unfathomable at that moment because it seems as finally Florida State fans, the program has something to be happy about. Florida State fans again have something to be excited about, something to look forward to. Finally, Florida State was going to have some good news. And it just evaporated into thin air. And again, if we're talking about the state of the program address, this is pretty much what it is. The state of the program is, if it can happen, it's going to happen to Florida State. And it's almost not if it can happen. It's more so like when it's going to happen. If something bad can happen to a football program, it's going to be Florida State, and it's going to happen to them. This is where we are. How we got here, man, that question has about 100 different answers. And I think there are a lot of people who are the cause for it, but that really doesn't matter. We're here now. Like, just think about, when was the last time Florida State won a season opener, right? Remember the night, what was it, Monday night against Ole Miss? That was such an amazing night, amazing comeback. We haven't won an opening game since then. I have an even better question for you. When was the last time Florida State had a winning record during the season? Like 2-3, eight, whatever, 1-0. Shit, 5-2. When was the last time Florida State had a winning record during the season? It's been a while, and it shouldn't. This is Florida State, or at least I thought it was. The schedule last season set up really nicely for you. It's set up to where you're going to be able to build some momentum in recruiting for 2023, 2024, as more importantly, 2022 at that time. And Florida State didn't capitalize. You know, you look at where we are as a program. When I say JSU, what do those three letters mean to you? Does it mean Jacksonville State or does it mean Jackson State? What's fucked up about it is, as a Florida State fan, I have to ask you that question. Right? JSU shouldn't mean shit to you, but it does, because it's a swift kick in the nuts regardless of which school we're discussing at this moment. The reason why I think last season was so important, and the reason why I think it was so important to capitalize on the schedule that we had, is because you don't want to drift off into college football purgatory. You don't want to become, and you've heard me say this before, you don't want to become Nebraska. You don't want to become Tennessee. You don't want to become Texas. You don't want to become USC. Actually, we do want to become USC. Because if you think about somebody that got it right, I don't give a good goddamn if USC goes 0-12 this season. They got it right. There is a program that is committed to winning. You look at LSU. You look at LSU winning the college football national championship in 2019 and how fast things went from day to night there. But think about what they did in the process of it. They gave their head coach an ultimatum. We need you to produce this. He didn't. They got rid of him. And you wouldn't believe me if I told you who their number one target was. This is a coach we know very well. And the talks progressed. Just didn't materialize. They went and got Brian Kelly from Notre Dame. And I am here to tell you, and I'm not telling you what I think, I'm telling you what I know. Brian Kelly had to be at least their third or fourth option. I shit you not. Brian Kelly, who it seems like every other year, every 2 years, is either in the conversation for the college football playoff or he's in it. That was their third or fourth option. That's a program committed to winning. Even if we fail at this shit, fine. Just know we took a mighty motherfucking swing at it. I can live with that. I don't give a flip what you think about Brian Kelly as a person. He is a damn good coach. He is a really good coach, and who's to say if it'll work out or not? But as a fan base, you have to be okay with them shooting for the stars, swinging for the fences, and bringing a Brian Kelly in to run your football program. You can't ask for much more than that. When Lincoln Riley, when the talks with Lincoln Riley fell apart, they transitioned swiftly and quickly to Brian Kelly. They had a plan. They had a plan. They didn't just strike out on their number one option. They didn't just strike out on their number two option and just threw their hands up. They had a plan. People, listen, I'm not against Mike Norvell. I want him to succeed. I want him to win. And I'm not just saying that because if he wins, Florida State wins, and if Florida State looks good. I'm saying that because I believe him to be a player's coach. I believe the players to like him. He's a likable guy for all intents and purposes. All things considered, he's a likable guy. So it's not like I'm one of those guys who's rooting against them. But right now, when you talk about if the state of the program right now is gloom, how much of it falls at his feet? He's on the hook for a lot of this, and some of these things we'll discuss next week when we talk about when we have the season preview. But right now, heavy is the head that wears the crown. He is the face of the program, and this isn't a program that we can be proud of at the moment. And a lot of the things that happened prior to him getting here, of course, were out of his control. But what has he done to get Florida State on the right track? So I'm here to tell you, listen, all you guys who were telling me this shit last season, Coach Bowden used to say all the time, you lose for season 1, you lose a lot. Season 2, you lose a little. Season 3, you win a little. Season 4, you win a lot. Okay, well, this is season 3. It's time to start winning. It's time for what they call proof of concept. I'm here for it. But right now, I have my questions. I have my questions about you promoting from within the program twice. One promotion I can understand. One promotion was warranted. The other, it's a head scratcher because you needed an assassin. You needed somebody who could go out on the recruiting trail and wow and woo recruits because that's what you need now more than ever. And I don't know who Tony Tokars is, but ask yourself, why in the hell should I? Prior to this season, why in the hell should I have known who Tony Tokars is? Because he's done nothing. He's literally done nothing to warrant me having a conversation about who he is and knowing where he came from and what his pedigree may consist of. It was head scratching to promote him. Um, and if you want an assassin to hire a gun on the recruiting trail, you want to go get it in other areas, right? So you go talk to a Jawan Snyder, and he turns you down for, I guess the warm and fuzzy way to put it is, his family doesn't want to uproot. His family doesn't want to leave. They love Penn State. The truth is, you probably don't want to come work for a lame duck coach. You work at Penn State and you turn down Florida State and the most talented, rich. You didn't want to come home to the most talented, rich state in the country. You turned down Florida State. People, think about this. If you can't get the kids to come here, I know good and hell well you can't get the adults to come here. That's a problem. That's why this 2022 season is way more important than their 2021 season, because I'm telling you, people, as exciting as as the perspective of having another coach come in, I don't want to go through that shit. I really don't. Keep your excitement. Keep your coaching hot boards. I am done with that shit. It's something I am not looking forward to doing. And truth be told, unless he just shits the bed, then I mean like win 2 or 3 games this season, I don't see him getting fired this year or this off season if it came to that. And for the record, it's not anything I'm rooting for. I'm just telling you it's nothing I want to see, right? I want Florida State to win. I'm not somebody whose ego is big enough to just, I told you so. I'm not one of those guys. No, I would love to be wrong about what's going on at Florida State. But it is what it is. One thing I cannot do and one thing I will not do with you is argue facts. Good luck disputing anything I said. People, Florida State is in a hole. They are in a fucking rut. And it's going to take a lot to get out of it. So that's all the time I'm giving you. That's all the time I got. Y'all know what it is, man. Y'all can reach me at the Hot Seat 19 on Twitter. You can reach me at the Hot Seat 19 on IG. Like I said, I've been gone, but I'm back. And good Lord, stay the same. I'll see you all again next week with the season preview. So until then, y'all be good.